Hello. Hello.
Yes,
Are
sir.
you able to hear me?
Yes,
Is
sir.
Okay. So in the last session, what we have discussed about, we discussed about string data type, right? So it is the fundamental data type. So as part of strings, what we have seen, sequence of characters. To deal with sequence of characters or to deal with the character type of data item, we people have used which data type, guys? We have used string data type, isn't it? So in today's session, we will discuss about sequence data types. So which will fall into the category of collection related data types. So in fundamental data types, in fundamental related data types, the basic primitive data types, what we discussed about, we discussed about integer data type, float data type, then complex data type, Boolean data type, and string data type. So in today's session, we will discuss about another category of data types. So which are going to be called as sequence data types. In sequence data types, even we can discuss about string data type, but this string data type is already discussed in the previous session. So today's session, it is about collection related data types. So primitive, fundamental data in fundamental data types. So what are the data types we have seen? Integer, float, complex, Boolean, and string data type. So today's session, it is about what? It is about collection related data type. What's the concept about? Please respond. Hello. Please respond, guys.
Collection related data types.
Collection related data
Collection
types.
related data types.
In collection related data types, so which particular data types are discussed? So if you observe the list of data types which were categorized under collection related data types, if you observe that, are you able to see the paint window? Hello.
Yes,
Yes,
sir.
sir.
What was the previous class strength?
52, sir.
52. So what happened to remaining people? It is just 41 members. Python programming is very important for you people. It has huge demand in the market. So please try to know about the importance of Python programming, guys. It is very important. So in today's session, what we can discuss about? We are going to discuss about collection related data types. Collection related data types. Under collection related data types, which particular data types can be seen? So if you observe that, yeah. Collection related data types, right? Collection related data types. Collection related data types. So in the collection related data types, the first concept which we are going to see in the form of what? List. List is a collection related data type. Tuple is a collection related data type. Then set. Set is what? It is a collection related data type. Then fourth one, frozen set. It is a collection related data type. Then the fifth one in the form of, it's very important one, guys, dictionary data type. Dictionary data type. Dictionary data type. Then the sixth one in the form of range data type. Then seventh one in the form of, what's the data type, guys?
Byte.
Bytes data type. Then the last one in the form of byte array. Byte array. So collection related data types. These are called as what? Collection related data types. So please remember these data type, guys. So in the data types concept, so the basic data types which we have discussed in the previous session was integer, float, then complex, boolean, and string. Right? In collection related data types, list, tuple, set, frozen set, dictionary, range, bytes, and byte array concept can be seen. So we will see the first type of collection related data type. The first one in the form of what? List. What it is? List. So by using these particular data types, so we can handle multiple number of data elements, guys. So if it is a single day, let us suppose if I am considering a simple variable. Okay. So if you consider a simple variable, if I am taking a equal to 10, that a can handle only one value, guys. So if you observe the data type that is assigned for the value called as 10, that a is internally assigned with which data type? Integer data type, right? So when you are assigning it as an integer data type, that can handle only one value. But if you got a requirement of handling multiple number of data elements, what you people have to do? You people have to go for the concept of what? Sequence data types. What is the concept, guys? Sequence data type. So string is falling into the category of sequence data type. Under collection related data types, we are going to see these concepts, guys. List, tuple, set, frozen set, dictionary, range, bytes, and byte array. So all these things, so these data types are going to handle multiple number of data elements. These data types are going to handle what? Multiple number of data elements, whether it is list or tuple or set or frozen set or dictionary or range or bytes or byte array. So these data types are going to handle multiple number of data elements. So these data types are called as what? Collection related data types. Is it clear, guys?
Yes, sir.
So we will see the first one. First data type in the form of what? List. So I will show you the things in IDE, so which is the IDE for Python programming language. So I will show you the examples for the first data type, which is called as what? Listed data type. Okay, so what sort of data can be handled with the help of list? So what are the features that are supported by list data type? We will discuss in the today's session. So we will discuss about two data types in today's session. So the first one in the form of list and second one in the form of what? Tuple. So we will discuss about these two data types in this today's session. Okay. So are you able to see the untitled window?
No, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, okay. Okay, so this is the untitled window, right? So here we will discuss about the first one, which is called as what? List. So how comments are represented in Python programming language, guys? With the help of hash, we can represent a comment. Only single line comments are supported in Python programming language, guys. Point to be remembered. Very important, guys. So in Python programming language, so we don't have the concept of multi-line comment representation. So to go with multi-line comments, what we people have to do? Every line should start with which symbol, guys? Hash symbol, such that that line of code is treated as a comment in Python programming language. So to make a line of code in Python programming language as comment, what we people have to do? We people have to begin the line with which symbol, guys? Hash symbol. Hash symbol should be used by the Python programmer to make a line of code in the Python programming language as a comment, right? So generally these comments are ignored by the translators of the Python programming language. So what's the concept about? So today's session we are discussing about what? List, right? So how list is represented? So if you observe that, so square braces, what we are using, guys? Square braces. So in the square braces, we are going to represent the multiple number of elements. So here I'm writing 10, 20, 30, Even I can use GVK. So when I'm using GVK, GVK is a string or not? So how string is represented in Python programming language, guys? So it can be represented with the help of what? Single quotes or double quotes or triple quotes. So did you remember the representation of strings in Python programming language?
Yes, sir.
So how we are representing them? So string must be enclosed either in single quotes or double quotes or triple quotes, right? So here I'm giving single quotes, guys. So GVK. So it's an element, guys. So the whole GVK is considered as an element, right? So like this, I can give the elements which are part of what? List. So the how elements are represented, guys? Please respond.
Inside of square braces.
Elements are presented in what? In the square braces. Isn't it?
Yes,
Hello.
sir.
So here I can write L equal to. So this particular L is called as what? A list of elements. List of elements. List of elements. Now, if you want to know the data type, right? So which function can be used by the programmer, guys? So to show the data type of a particular variable practically in Python programming language, which particular predefined function is used by the Python programmer?
Type.
Yeah, superb, guys. So we have to use type function. So as we need to display it onto the user screen, so which function has to be used?
Print.
To display something onto the user screen.
Print type of L.
Superb. So within the braces, within the circular braces, we have to use the type function such that it will display what? The data type of the particular variable. So see the logic here. So it's an example which is going to represent list data type in Python programming language. Simply here I'm mentioning L equal to, or you can give anything. So L1 is representing what? It is a variable name. L1 equal to, within the square braces, I'm going to represent the elements. So 10, 20, 50, 30.6, GVK. So as GVK is a string, so it has to be mentioned, it has to be integrated within the single quotes or double quotes or triple quotes. So I'm enclosing it. So L1 equal to 10, 20, 50, 30.6, GVK. So how many number of elements are part of this particular list, guys? Can you count the number of elements? How elements are distinguished from one another? How elements are distinguished? By using comma. Comma is the separator. It is called as a delimiter. Delimiter is the symbol using which we are going to separate two things. Two entities are separated, right? So here comma is the delimiter, separator. So what it is separating? It is separating the elements. So by using this particular symbol, we are distinguishing two elements from one another, right? So how many number of elements are part of this particular L1 list? So 1, 5. 2, 3, 4, and 5. Now, if I want to display the list elements onto the user screen, so what I can do? I can use print function. Print function can be used. Print of, what's the variable, guys?
L1.
L1 is the variable name. You can simply give the variable name such that, so this particular example is displaying about what? It is an example for the list data type, right? It is simple. I'm giving you a simple example for the list data type. Okay. Save the logic. After writing the logic, to save the program. So save as, I'm saving into the Python folder. So which is available upon the desktop, guys. So I'm saving it to desktop Python folder. In Python folder, so we are having a CSV folder. In CSV, inside of CSV, I'm saving the program. Okay. So I give some meaningful name. So it is an example which is going to represent about list data type. So it is example for list example 1 dot what? What should be the extension?
PY.
PY should be the extension. Save it, then run the program. Run the program. So are you able to see the output? Hello.
Yes, sir.
So what it is displaying? It is displaying the list of elements. List is a collection related data type by using which we can handle multiple number of data elements. Is it clear, guys?
Yes, sir.
So go to the code window. Now, if you see here, the elements which I have given as part of the code. So if you see here, the first element which is specified by the programmer is 10, then 20, then 50, then 30.6 and GVK. So these are the 5 elements which were given in this particular order. So if you print the list of elements, if you print the elements of this particular list onto the user screen, the elements which are supplied by the programmer, so the order which is given, the elements which are given in this order, so the same order will be displayed onto the output screen. So first of all, 10, then 20, then 50, then 3.6 and GVK. So if you are giving importance to the order of elements which are stored into the memory, so according to that particular order, if you want to show, if you want to deal the things, then we have to go with the concept of what? List data types. So list data type is a mutable object. List is a mutable object. So when I'm calling it as mutable objects, the content of the object can be changeable or not changeable. Please respond. When I'm calling it as mutable, can it be changed or not?
Yes, sir.
So contents of list object can be changed or not?
Yes, sir.
So what about order preservance? Is it going to preserve the order or not?
Yes, sir.
So the order in which the programmer is specifying. So in that particular order, if it is showing onto the screen, so we are not bothered about the order, then we don't go for the concept of list, guys. So if you are interested in dealing with multiple number of elements to store them in memory, so to deal with such kind of data elements, that means when multiple number of data elements are there, order is important for us. Then at that time, we can go with the concept of what? List. So this particular list is used for handling multiple number of data elements or not. So if you observe the nature of the elements, 10 is integer data type, 20 is integer, 30 is integer data type again. So what about GVK? It is a string. 10.5 is what? Hello, float is what kind of value? Can you please respond? It's a decimal value or not? So handling multiple number of elements which are having in dissimilar nature. So these kind of elements are handled with the help of list data type. So even order preservance is considered in list. So if I am going with the concept of arrays, right? Let us suppose if I am storing 5 number of elements, is it possible to store the 6th element into the array? Can we do that? Can we expand the size of an array?
Yes, sir.
Can we expand? Hello, in C programming language,
Sir,
we
yes,
have
sir.
seen the concept of arrays concept, right?
Catalog.
See, those things are not used for increasing the size of an array or decreasing the
Memory,
size of
sir.
an array. Hello.
We
It
can
won't
increase memory now, sir.
It will increase the size. That means you can handle multiple number of data elements. It looks like an array, but internally it is seeming like an array. But so if you consider the array concept in C, right? So arrays cannot be expanded. The size of an array cannot be expanded. The size of the array cannot be shrinked. So with malloc and calloc, what you people are doing? You people are not increasing the size of an array.
Memory.
It is seeming like an array. Okay, of course, it seems like an array. Okay, so 10, 20, 30 GVK, 10.5. Now, this particular memory is handling how many number of elements, guys? So 5 number of dissimilar kind of elements. 5 number of dissimilar kind of elements. So if I want to go for one more element, so if I want to increase, if I want to store one more element in which is related to the context, so can I do that? Yes, of course, I can do it with the help of an append method which is supported here. So what I can do, I can use append method, guys. So L1, what's the variable name? What's the list name? Sorry, what is the list name? What is the list name? Please respond, guys.
L1.
L1 is the list name. So L1 dot append function. So what I have to do, I have to use append function. Append of the new element which I want to insert into the list. Suppose if I want to bring one more element into the list, like some 600. Okay, so 6,000 here I am giving 6,000. So I want to add this 6,000 element to the list. Okay, so I can use append method. To add a new element into the list, append method can be used. Is it clear, guys? Hello.
Yes, sir.
So
Yes,
if you
sir.
want to display the list, guys, so what you can do? Print of L1. So when I can append a new element into the list, so this L1 is what? It is a variable name which is pointing to the object, right? So these elements are which we can consider as the data elements of the object or not. So if I can make changes to the existing object, then the object is considered as mutable object or immutable object. Hello.
Mutable object, sir.
Mutable object. So because I'm adding this new element called as 6000 into the existing object. As 6000 is integrated, when I'm making changes into the existing object, that object can be considered as the mutable. So list is a mutable object or immutable object?
Mutable object.
Mutable object. All fundamental data types. So the basic data types which we have discussed. So integer or float or string or complex or string. So all of them are what? Mutable or immutable?
Immutable, sir.
They are immutable. But what about the list? List is a mutable object. So content of the list object can be changed. So this is an example. So earlier in the initial stage, the object is having how many number of elements? 5 number of elements. The moment when it executes L1 dot append. Now the content of this object is changed or not? So see changes. So I'm making changes here. So save as. So I'm giving a new name. So list example 2.py. Okay, save it, then run the program. Execute it. See here. What it is showing? A new element is added. Isn't it? Are you able to see the output screen?
Yes,
Are you
sir.
seeing the shell window?
Sir.
So in the earlier case, how many elements have it has displayed? 5 number of elements. Now when I have appended a new element, so how to insert a new element into the list? Which method should be used?
Append.
Append method should be used. Now in this list of elements, I want to remove 50. Okay, so what I have to do? Please respond. What is my requirement? I want to remove an element from the list. So how to remove an element from the list? So for that, we Python programmers has to use remove method. What's the method name, guys? Please respond.
Remove method, sir.
Remove method. So remove method
Remove
is
method.
used. By using remove method, what we can do? We can remove an element from the list. Okay, so you can use list. Sorry, you can use a remove method. So what's the variable name? This name is what? L1. L1 dot remove. Are you seeing the code window?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
L1 dot remove. So which element has to be removed from the list?
50.
As per your requirement, you can mention that particular element. So here I'm giving 50. L1 dot remove. So when I remove 50 from the list, so after removing that 50 element from the list, so how many elements will be left in the list?
5.
Only 5. So print of L1. So what it shows, guys? Can we able to see this 50 element as part of the list?
No, sir.
No.
No, sir.
Save the code. So list example 3.py. Then save the logic. Then run the program. See here. So this 50 element is removed from the list. So to remove a specific element from the list of elements, so which particular method has to be used by the Python programmer? So if you observe that, Python programmer is going to use remove method for removing an element from the list. So to add an element into the list, so which method is used? Append method is used. To remove an element from the list, which method is used, guys?
Remove method.
Remove method is used. Now, so are you able to see the paint window? Please respond.
No, sir.
Is it visible now?
Yes,
sir.
sir.
Yeah, okay. So the elements which we are representing as part of the list, So here you can consider. So L1 equal to, so list of elements are specified inside of what? Square braces, right? So 10, 20, 30.6, 50 GV. Okay. So these are the list of elements, right? So when I'm mentioning as part of the list, so this is called as what list? How list is identified, guys? Hello? How list is identified? Hello? Please respond. I'm calling it as a list, right? So how you are identifying it? So by seeing the square braces. So by seeing the square braces, so mentioning elements as part of this particular square braces indicates what? List having 5 number of elements. So what's the list name? List name is L1. Okay, so when you are storing this kind of elements, okay, so when you are writing this kind of code in Python programming, internally these elements are stored like this. Okay, so 10 in the first cell, second cell having 20, 30.6 in the third cell, 50, and then GVK is available. Okay, so if you observe the indexes, so the list, the first element is associated with 0, second element with 1, third element with 2, fourth element with 3, and the last element with what? 4. So when you consider from left to right, index starts from 0. Then when you start from the right side to left side, so here we are having what? Negative indexes. Now, I want to access this 30.6 element from the list. So how can I access, guys? So I want to display this 30.6 onto the user screen. So what I can do? So for displaying something onto the user screen, print function can be used. So what's the list name? Please respond.
L1.
L1 is the list name. L1 followed by subscript. So when I'm mentioning the subscript, as part of subscript, what we have to mention here? Can I mention the index?
Yes, sir.
So which element I want to access? I want to access 30.6. So what is its index? 2. So when I'm mentioning 2 here, what it will display? So when it executes this statement, it displays 30.6 onto the user screen. Now I am writing print of L1 of -1. What it displays? GVK is displayed. Print of L1 of -4. What it will display? Can anyone guess?
20.
20
20.
is displayed. 20 is displayed. So can I use slice operator upon the list object? Yes, of course, we can use slice operator. Slice operator is used. Suppose if I am writing L1 of, so I am mentioning the starting index as 1, then colon, then followed by what? Here I am giving 4. So print of L1. So what is this?
Excuse me, sir.
Yeah, you can ask me.
Sir, for 30.6, we need to mention L1 or subscript of -4, no, sir. Then. Sorry,
L1 of
-3.
-3 has to be used.
Yes, sir.
So when I'm mentioning L1 of -4, what it will display? So -4 is what? It is the index given for the 20 element, right?
Yes.
So it will display 20 onto the output screen.
Yes, sir. For first one, you mentioned 2, no, sir. L1
Yeah,
of
of course, you can use even negative index.
Okay, sir.
Even you can use negative index. Okay, suppose if I am writing like this, print of L1 of minus 3. So what it will display? Of course, it will display 30.6. You can use either positive indexes or negative indexes. It is left up to you. So if you want to deal with negative indexes, so negative indexes starts from right to left. So the last cell will be indexed with what? -1. The first cell will be indexed with what? So based upon the number of elements, this value will change, isn't it?
Yes, sir.
So that's the case. We already discussed while discussing about string concept, right? So this is called as what? Slice operator, isn't it? So is slicing available upon the list object, guys? Can we go for the slicing operation? Is slicing possible upon the list?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
It is possible. So can we go for indexing? Indexes concept is available with list object or not?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
So indexing is available. When indexing is available, can we go for subscription? So sorry, subscript operator. Can we use subscript operator?
Yes, sir.
So when indexes are there, subscript operator can be used. So to access an element from the list, to access an element from the list. So how we are accessing it? With the help of indexes, guys. So we already discussed about positive and negative indexes while discussing in the strings concept, isn't it? Have we discussed or not? The same thing applies in the list object too. Is it clear? Hello?
Yes,
Yes, sir.
Please respond. Are you following or not? So what's the result, guys? So when I'm executing this kind of statement in Python programming language, what will be the output? So 1 to 4, right? So what's the starting index? Please respond. L1 of, this is the L1 object, right? So 1. So it starts from L1. So starting index is 1. What is the ending index? The value which we specify here. So -1 will be considered. So 4 minus 1 is what? Please respond. Please respond, guys. Are you able to follow me or not? So when I'm mentioning 4
Three,
here,
sir.
so what happens here? So end index will be considered up to 4 or 3?
3.
3,
3. So it considers up to the third 3
Sir.
index, right? So which values will be displayed onto the user screen? 20. So on the output screen, you can see 20, 30.6 and 50. So this is the result. Is it clear?
Yes, sir.
So I will
Yes,
show you
sir.
with the help of example. Okay. So go to the code window again. Go to the code window. Okay. So here I am mentioning print of. Are you able to see the code window?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
So print. So variable name is L1. So here I am using what? Slice operator. Okay. So the first index is mentioned as, beginning index is mentioned as 1. Then colon, end index has to be mentioned. So the value which we specify after colon operator. So that value -1. So that up to that index is considered. So when I'm mentioning 4 here, so what it will consider? It will consider up to the 3 index, right? So what will be the result, guys? Result of this particular statement. Can anyone guess? L1 of 1 to 4. Which elements are displayed onto the user screen?
20, 50, 30.6.
20, 50, 30.6 will be shown. So here I am mentioning print of L1, then mentioning what? Within the subscript. So without mentioning the beginning index. So if I am mentioning like this, so what it will display? Can anyone guess? What's the result? The whole list will be displayed. So beginning index to the last element in up to that particular element index is considered by this particular syntax. So when you are not mentioning the beginning index and ending index, so beginning value and ending value is not mentioned here. So what it considers? It considers the whole list of what? whole list object is considered, and that list of elements will be displayed onto the user screen. So what's the result, guys? So when I'm executing the second print statement, what will be the result? 10, 20, 50, 30.6, and also GVK will be shown up on the user screen. So save the program. So list example 4.py. After saving the logic, run the program. So what it has shown, guys? So 1 to 4, right? So 1 is the starting index. So it is starting from 10. What about 4? So when I'm mentioning 4 after colon operator, so it considers up to 4th index or 3 index? Hello? The value which we specify after colon operator. So that value is considered or -1 is considered? Please respond, guys. Are you able to follow me or not? Hello? Please respond, guys. Hello?
Yes, sir.
Sir,
Yes, sir.
So when I'm mentioning 4, it considered up to 4th index or 3rd index?
Third index, sir.
3rd index.
Third
So because of that reason, so 1 means 20. So end index is mentioned as what? 4, right? So when it is mentioned as 4, 4 minus 1 is considered as what? 3. So 1, 2, and 3. So 20, 50, 30.6 is displayed upon the user screen. So go to the code window. So are you able to see the code window here? Now when I'm mentioning
Yes, sir.
the end index here, okay? Suppose if I'm mentioning it as 4. So can anyone guess what's the output of this program?
10, 20, 30 GVK.
10,
20.
20.
50, 30.6.
So it displays up to 30.6, isn't it?
Yes, sir.
So,
Yes, sir.
so here I am not mentioning the end index. Sorry, beginning index is not mentioned, but end index is mentioned. So what it considers? So when beginning index is not mentioned in the slice operator, what happens here? It
0.
considers the beginning index as what? 0. So end index is considered like the value which is mentioned by the programmer. Now let us suppose if I am not mentioning the end index, but mentioning what? The beginning index. Now what happens? Can you guess the output of this particular statement?
20,
What happens here?
50, 30.6
50,
GVK.
30.6 GVK.
So it starts from the beginning index. What is mentioned here? 1. 1 is the beginning index. So it starts from 20th element and it considers up to the last element which is part of the list. So what's the last element? GVK. So it starts from 20. So ends with what? GVK. So 20, 50, 30.6 and GVK will be displayed upon the user screen. Is it clear?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
So list object is mutable or immutable? Can anyone respond?
Mutable, sir.
Mutable.
Mutable or
Mutable.
immutable? Can anyone
Mutable.
respond?
Mutable, sir.
It
Mutable,
is
sir.
mutable. So it is allowing changes in the existing object. So this is something about what? List object, guys. List object. So is it clear, guys?
Yes, sir.
So in the next session, we will discuss about the next data type, which comes into the category of what? Collection related data type. So the next data type which we are going to see in the next session is about what? Tuple data type. What's the next data type?
Tuple data.
Tuple data type. So in today's session, what we have discussed about? We discussed about list, guys.
Data.
So in tomorrow's session, so tomorrow you people are going to have two classes, guys. So one in the morning, another one in the afternoon session. So you will have an extra session in the afternoon. So that is, so in the next session, we will discuss about tuple data type, set data type, and the differences between the list, tuple, and set data types in the next session. Is it clear?
Yes, sir.
So if you people are having any kind of doubts, you can ask me, or else you can leave the session. Any doubts regarding the collection related data types? So by you, collection related data types can be used for handling the multiple number of data elements.